First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to moderate such an esteemed panel. I'm excited to be here again at the Propy Summit. Always excited to see the intersection of real estate and technology. I born and raised here in Miami and actually grew up in a family business of real estate that then in the late 90s, early 2000s went completely into technology. So it's a very long story that I'm not going to get into, but that's sort of a little bit of background of my intersection between real estate and technology. With that being said, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with something that I think is a little bit of a sensitive topic, and I think also extremely relevant. And I'm sure that many of you have been talking about this over the last several weeks and days, and that is, about the Sitzer Brunette trial. And some may want to discuss it and some may not, but I thought, it's something important and relevant. And really, it's just a general question just about your thoughts and how should agents be sort of thinking about this over the next 2 or 3 years. So just general thoughts around it and introductions as well, please. Anyone can start that would like to.
Hello. Oops, I think I just started ahead of you, Ariana. I didn't mean to. I was just testing out the mic, guys. My name is Rebecca Hidalgo Rains. I'm from Arizona. I have been practicing real estate full-time for 30 years now. Got my license in 93. So when I look back at my career, wow, just in the last 10 years, like that last question in the last panel I thought was very poignant. And so when you're talking today about the commissions, my team has been freaking out all year. I mean, everybody has been freaking out all year.
I'm sure.
Right. And, and then I look back to 2007. That was very pivotal in my career. I was a sales manager for a local home builder, having to fire all my agents, talk about scary times. And I don't feel like we're there at all right now. And so anytime my team came to me with fear-based type of questions, concerns, like, guys, focus on what you can focus on. What's in front of you? Focus on that. Don't worry about stuff you have no control over. Manifest your destiny. I think that's a common thread with everybody, to quit sweating about things you have no control over. We don't have any control over what happens with that court case, but I guarantee you things will change on how we're doing things. And the best thing you can do is educate yourself and stay prevalent in the industry so that you know what's happening tomorrow, today. That is always my advice.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I completely agree with you. I second that. I got into the real estate industry when I was 18 years old, been through the downturn of 2007, 2008, seen the boom and the crash and everything in between. I think at the end of the day, though, it's just too early to tell. Like, we don't know what's going on yet. So to sit there and lose sleep at night, it's just not productive.
Too many questions.
It's just too many questions. Like, this could weeks, months, years to actually be implemented, if it ever does. And you've got two ends of the bookcase here. On one end, it could just be a simple disclosure statement or something of the sort, or it could be as extreme as the DOJ getting involved and saying no more commissions of that structure, and it could change. But the reality of it is, we don't know yet. So there's no point in freaking out about it. Just work on your value proposition, as you mentioned, and just persevere forward.
Agreed.
You know what? I might.
Here.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for asking the $1.78 billion question. Thank you. Leslie and I are probably going to take the fifth here because we're both defendants in the case. Well, our companies, our organizations are. But I do want to say a little something about it procedurally. My name is Martha Mosier. I'm the president of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services California Properties. And I've also been a real estate attorney for 30 years. So I'm very familiar with the legal system. And while we respect very much the legal process and the system, we strongly believe that this verdict was not supported by the evidence. And Leo alluded to it, Elsie alluded to it, so many of the speakers have alluded to it, but these headlines are clickbait. They are a lot of emotion, a lot of bombastic headlines. And by the way, for those of you that are not attorneys, when you have a headline that says, devastating landmark case, guess what cases are not cases until they're final. So suffice it to say, this verdict is going up on appeal. The defendants will be likely appealing this in the next 30 days. And like Ariana said, we're not looking at any laws that are going to come out of this for at least 2 to 3 years. Tech is quick. Legal is not. I think Elsie said that on the last panel. So hang in there. It is going to be business as usual. We really believe that buyers and sellers are entitled to representation by subject matter experts. And we believe that the laws and the systems, the MLS system that we currently have, and the business model is very, very pro-consumer. Pro-competition, but more importantly, pro-consumer. In fact, if you look up an article right now or a paper that has been written on what if this happens, what if we go to a different business model, it says the name of the paper is Careful What You Ask For. Because how many in here are real estate agents? Just so I know. Okay, right on. I am too. So how many of you are homeowners? How many of you were first-time owners at one time? A lot of us. I remember the first time that I bought a home, I took every single penny that I had to purchase a home and borrowed a little money from dad. And you know what? I wouldn't have been able to buy that home if I had to pay the buy-side commission. So we really believe that the verdict as it is right now is definitely going to have an unintentional, desperate impact on first-time homebuyers, veterans, and those individuals in the middle to lower income levels. So we are fighting the fight. And, like Ariana said, we're talking years from now. And one very smart woman once said, if there is a bend in the road, it's not the end of the road, unless, of course, you forget to turn at the bend. So we will adapt and we will change some rules and the ways we do business, but it's not the end of the real estate business.
Yeah. Well said.
So I'm sure I'm everyone's favorite person in the world as the 2022 president of the National Association of Realtors. And the year I was elected in 2019 is when this was filed, this lawsuit. So I've lived it through my entire leadership journey, which is over 2 weeks from today. I'm not counting or anything. I was conceived in real estate. My father started his company when my mother was pregnant with me. For anyone who's from the Midwest, it was HER Realtors, Harley E. Rouda, and in company way back when. And then he also started Real Living, which was actually another brand under Home Services with Berkshire Hathaway. Unfortunately, it did not survive COVID. On the Sitzer issue, I'll tell you what I know that is factual. So this lawsuit came out of Missouri, and there are copycat lawsuits I'm sure you are also aware of. And they're both on the buyer side and on the seller side. So we're getting it from all directions. We are fighting more lawsuits than we've ever fought in our 116-year history. In Missouri, they represented about 0.5% of home sales in 2022. Don't forget, we have 49 more states and 4 territories. So this could be just the beginning of what's to come. Let's hope it's not. Yeah. What they did was they picked 4 MLSs. They went in to see what was being offered to the co-broker, and that's where 1.78 billion came from. Now keep in mind, this is what was in the MLS system. This does not mean that it ever closed or any money changed hands. Wow. Of the 8 jurors, 4 were homeowners, 4 were not. So there are a lot of balls in the air, as you can imagine. Yes, we will be appealing it. I'm sure everyone would have expected that. There's also clearly a lot of other things going on at the National Association of Realtors. And if you don't know about those, you are living under a rock. Because it's been mind-blowing that this much can happen in this short of time. Just a couple recommendations I would make to you is to go to the website that we have, competition.realtor, or The Difference Realtor. Real Estate Commission Facts is another one. These are all sites that we have at NAR. But if you want to make it super easy, go to nar.realtor and put in the search bar what you're looking for, and it will direct you there. But there are a lot of things that we as realtors could and should be doing. And one thing we're not very good at, unless we want to toot our horn, of course, about our production, is talking about the other things we do. Because don't forget that people out there think that, oh my gosh, did you know Susie Q sold $10 million? They think you made 10 million, y'all. They don't understand how this works. They think we make too much money. So we need to be more careful. Excuse me. Another thing, when we were in the height of the market in the last few years with all the multiple offers, I mean, I had someone that I knew, I thought, you know better than this. But she got on social media and said, after making offers on 18 homes and being amongst 51 offers on this property, I'm so happy my buyers finally got it. I mean, what kind of message do you think things like that send to the general public? If it's like that, I'm not buying a house right now. That's crazy. So that's what we're for, to overcome those objections, overcome interest rates, low inventory, whatever it may be. But I am going to be here for a little while. If anybody has any questions they want to ask me, I'll be happy to answer what I can.
Thanks.
I am not an attorney, though.
Thanks, Leslie. And I just want to say,
I brought my attorney with me, though.
so well spoken, all of you. And I just want to say how much I'm sure not only myself, but everyone here appreciates all of you sort of taking the time to answer in, you know, in a way that you can and validly. And just thank you for all your comments. We're going to change topics now and get into a little bit more about what this conference is about, right? Real estate and technology. And how are each of your organizations empowering your agents, your team members through advanced technology? Anyone could go ahead and start.
I'll take that really quickly. So I enjoyed the Tom Ferry and the past panel on this. You know, Warren Buffett is everyone kind of knows who Warren Buffett is. One thing that he says is hang out with people that are smarter than you and better behaved than you, and you will drift in that direction. So I already feel smarter sitting on the stage with you women. But when it comes to technology and incorporating it in, we decided at our organization that AI, and I'm talking all the way up to home services organization, is absolutely something we have to embrace. So we do extensive training on it. We do Tech Connect seminars and things like that. And one thing that really motivated me to embrace AI, and that is a Wall Street Journal article I read years ago about the most important things millennials and Gen Zs will seek out in a company. And you probably can guess what they are. Number one is being socially conscious on social issues. Number two is DEI and tech. And number three is having a purpose. So I think those are all incredibly important. And when you look, I think LC alluded to it on the last panel, $72 trillion in the next 20 years is going to be shifted in the great generational shift of wealth. $72 trillion. How do people amass, very wealthy people, how do they amass most of their wealth? With real estate, right? That's how many individuals, obviously the stock market, but let's face it, the real estate market has outpaced the stock market as of late, right? Here in Florida and in California too. So think about that. $72 trillion, even if you take a third of that, $24 trillion in real estate is going to be passed. That's what you need to focus on. And what's important to those generations, I myself have one Gen Zer and 3 millennials, and it's very, very important for them to work with companies where the values are around those concentric circles with technology, sustainability, purpose, and social issues. So you got to get on board with technology, or you're, like Tom Ferry said, you're out.
Definitely. You have to have a forward-thinking organization. There's no question.
So I will tell you a little bit about some things that you might not know. How many of you have heard of the REACH program? Not very many. Okay. So that's the for-profit side of the National Association of Realtors, and it's under the umbrella of the Second Century Ventures. We have 230 companies under that umbrella, of which we are invested in all of them, and one of them is Propy. So Natalia has been a part of our REACH program, and we thank you for that, wherever you are, Natalia.
And as I heard, it has provided incredible opportunities for Propy and Natalia, which is amazing.
Well, and the thing that's really cool about it, especially if you're not even aware of this, is that we are in the UK, Latin America, Australia, Canada, of course, in the United States, and we continue to grow. We've always said that we are not a tech company. We're an association. We're a trade association. So we need those people that are smarter than we are to create things that work for us as realtors. So keep that in mind when you're inventing something. And then we work with realtors who are the guinea pigs to kind of look at these things and say, yeah, this is good, or you might fix or change that. It's really a cool program. Is Ashley Stinton in here? I thought she was going to be here from NAR, but she's very involved and would be a great person to talk to if you have a need, or you can always reach out to me and I'll direct you in the right direction. But it's a really cool thing. You can also find, again, at nar.realtor.
Thanks.
Awesome. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit from the realtor perspective as a team lead, and to those of you in the room that are solo practitioners. At the end of the day, nobody's going to take you by the hand and show you how to make money. Nobody is. You have to get your butt out there and get in there and figure out what's happening again tomorrow. I've always prided myself as being a total nerd, super nerdy. I love my spreadsheets, and I try to lead by example. One thing I did last year, it hasn't even been a full year yet, I was the first agent in the country to get my entire team certified through Propy with the crypto. And it was really cool because it was the same week the FTC collapsed. Guess how much media publicity we got because of that? It was not my intent going in there, but I will always be looking at what's happening tomorrow and trying to bring it to my team so that we incorporate it before anybody else does. Back at home, I was doing short sales before the majority of my competitors were. So for the first few years, I cleaned house, and in an environment that most people thought was terrible, I had tons of business. So it's upon us, our own selves, to figure out how we're going to achieve tomorrow, and that is definitely through technology. I encourage all of you guys to research everything you can, gobble it up, and invest in yourselves. That's the one theme we keep hearing over and over and over again today, and I'm sure we will continue to. Be a nerd and be proud of it. There you go.
And you know, on the subject of investment, I'm glad you brought that up. How many women in this room have worked with investor clients, who's a real estate agent and worked with several investor clients? Please raise your hand. Now, how many of you actually invest in properties yourself? All right, that's good. How many of you have an active investment tech portfolio? Only a few hands in the room. Well, we know you do. But I mean, seriously, guys, did you know that men are 7 times more predisposed to put money into a startup than a woman is? Why is that? Why are we not taking advantage of this amazing shift in technology that we're all in right now? We should all be taking a piece of this pie. So, you know, at the Pareja, we are extremely dedicated to fostering knowledge, specifically to women. We've partnered with Miami-Dade College to provide free financial literacy courses. Why did we do this? Well,
That's amazing.
Thank you. We did this because, one, we wanted to give back to the community. 2, we built our entire net worth through real estate. So it's something that I felt that once I got to a certain point in my life, I wanted to give back to my local community and share it with other women, and especially minorities, on how to build personal financial wealth. And so I think that knowledge is power. We are in a very, very important time in history where if you are investing in the right places at the right time, you can 5x, 10x, 20x, whatever your wealth, if you're concentrated. So I encourage all of you in this room. I know it's overwhelming to try something new, to invest in something new, but go to networking events, come to things like this that have an intersection between technology and real estate, and start to dabble in other things, to start to learn more. And I just challenge you to lift other women up, especially nothing to say about the guys in the room. You guys are doing great already, but I really want to see those numbers in women investment go up. So please take advantage of everything that you have in front of you today, and all the women and other people, and network and learn more about investing. We need to see more women like Medina in Miami.
No, I love that. I mean, amen, amen. We have to promote each other. And like you said, this is not a knock on men. This is just the numbers are the numbers, right? And the data doesn't lie. And even in investing in tech startups, it's still the VC dollars are still predominantly going to male founders. So
It's like less than
it's-
2% for females to get funded. It's
exactly.
ridiculous.
So we're coming up on time, but I do want to end with one question for all of you. I know that all of you, promote female leadership in your teams. I think it's incredible. And just if you could leave everyone with, a piece of advice, or why is it so important to mentor, recruit, and onboard, female-led teams in each of our organizations? And then unfortunately, we have to wrap up this amazing discussion.
So I will tell you, I was the first and only president in 116 years to preside over a majority female leadership team at NAR.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah.
And part of that was intentional. 5 of the officers are elected, 2 are appointed, and I'm the only woman to ever appoint 2 women vice presidents. So I got a good start, 3 out of 7. So I just needed 1 more, and our treasurer ended up being a woman, so that helped. But we are a member of the largest trade association in the world. When I was president, we had 1.6 million members. 2/3 of our members are women. But that's not what you see in our leadership. And you don't see that across the board in leadership anywhere, even when we're 2/3. And it's not to say that, men don't do a great job. They do. I work with amazing men. But what I will say is there are also a lot of amazing women that aren't being given opportunities. And that's something I've worked really hard at, empowering women. And it's amazing to see them shine.
Thank you.
I love all of that. And I just want to just say for myself, I'm the youngest of a big family. And for some reason, I'm the one that everything always falls back on in my family. And I think I'm just like the scary little sister. But, there shouldn't be anything different about us versus guys. It really shouldn't. It's just because we don't have some levels in our pants, that doesn't mean nothing. At the end of the day, we are as powerful as we believe we are. And I am a true believer in manifesting our own destiny. I said it earlier, and I know through my own example that I set, I'm going to help raise my daughters in a manner that they aren't going to take any crap from nobody. And I don't care what sex you are. That's just how you should live.
Mhm.
Amen.
Yes.
I want to be respectful of our times. I know we have to go to the next session, but I would just leave it at this. Come to more events like this, network, and just take the first step. Take the first step, because nobody can help you but you. Okay? Thank you all.
Yeah, I agree with all of these brilliant women up here. And I will tell you, I know Leslie and I have been in this business for 30 plus years. And things are very different now. And women have a lot of opportunities that they didn't have in the past. And I'll tell you one thing that I know most strong women have in their fiber of who they are. And that is, if someone tells you no, I double down and I'm going to do it twice as good. So I use that as my jet fuel. So for any of you women that have been, I don't know, mean girls splained or mansplained or anything, put in a corner, in a box, whatever it may be, stand up to that and stand up for your rights. And by the way, you don't have to be a woman to support women's issues. So that's what I'm saying.
Amazing. You heard it here. Don't take no for an answer. Manifest your own destiny. And thank you all for being an inspiration and such incredible leaders. Thank you all, and excited to see what's next.